All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. And my name is Judson Powell. I am the CEO of KHEPRii Television. We are an African-American owned television network, and we are on the Roku platform right now, the Roku platform. So check us out. It's KHEPRii. You can go to our website, KHEPRii is KHEPRii with a K and two I's. And go check us out. We show vintage movies and also the latest music videos. All right. And it's free. All right. Anyway, so I'm on my catch-up round. I'm trying to make up ground for lost time, and because I was kind of on a little vacation, so I'm trying to catch up with everything that's been going on and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so the biggest thing probably on the internet, the thing that really broke the internet lately, is probably the Shannon Sharpe interview with Katt Williams. And of course, pretty much everybody saw it. And I remember seeing, checking out one of Shannon's posts, and it was like he was talking to Ocho Cinco, to Chad Johnson, another former NFL star. And he was just talking about how there were like a lot of people, that watched this podcast of his, and I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was like around 35 million. So that's a lot of folks, right? A lot of folks, 35 million folks. That's a lot of folks. And so he was just talking about how he couldn't imagine that the impact that Katt Williams had, and just the matter of people were so interested in what Katt Williams was saying. Now, what was Katt Williams really saying, and what was this thing all about? And I guess that's like one of the things that kind of shocked me, because I didn't really expect for the interview to kind of go like it did, but it did go like it did. And I was like, wow, look at all of these people that are interested. It was what was going on in the world of comedy. And now, as a result of everything that was going on, there is, I guess, allegedly, I got to say that so I won't get sued, but allegedly Kevin Hart is suing Katt Williams. And the reason why is because Kevin Hart is mad because Katt Williams called him a industry plant, and basically saying that he wasn't funny, and that he doesn't really have any experience except for the movies that they put him in, and the movies that they put him in pretty much weren't funny. And so, and this, of course, once again, we have to throw the word allegedly in there, and also throw in there that this is my opinion. I want to put in that matter too, is that everything that I'm saying is my opinion, and it is for information purposes only, and also for news purposes only. Just recapping what went on, not to make any kind of statement to say that Katt Williams or for that matter Kevin Hart are one way or the other. All right. But here's the thing. So we got all of this, down because of the fact that, and I know a lot of people don't really believe that that Kevin Hart is funny. All right. So there are a lot of people out there that don't really care for his comedy, and especially in the African-American community. The African-American community is not really like great Kevin Hart folks, but I think that the thing is that he must test well with other audiences. Okay, so because there's got to be a reason why they keep using him. They're not going to keep using somebody that's not going to be making them money. If you're not making them dollars, then it ain't making sense for them to keep you around. And so they've been keeping him around, and so and especially in the in the movies with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Okay, him and The Rock have had, I don't even know how many movies, but to me, and this is the reason why, because it seems to me that all of those movies are like the same movie. They just, change the circumstances, but their whole thing, their whole shtick is the same in every movie, in my opinion. All right. And I'm not really a big fan of those movies. I've probably seen them all just because they're out there. But as far as being a fan of those movies and say, I'm gonna go watch a Rock and Kevin Hart movie, is like, probably I'm not gonna do it, right? If I got a choice between, as a matter of fact, I like the movies on KHEPRii television because we show vintage African American movies. So like the old school movies that were out like when I was a kid and stuff like that. And a lot of times I just like to watch those movies, and the other thing is, and I'm a big Charlie Chan movie fanatic. I love Charlie Chan movies. Okay. So that's like my thing. But other than that, probably not going to rush out real fast to see a Kevin Hart movie. The thing that was more disturbing, though, I think the person that really caught the brunt of most of this was Steve Harvey. And I know, like, there's a lot of sentiment out there about Steve Harvey. Don't get me wrong. There is a lot of negative sentiment out there about Steve Harvey. And once again, because of, just like, I don't know if anybody saw, some of the rants about his relationship advice. There's like a lot of comments, like a lot of people have made comments, about his, being able to give advice about relationships, because he's been in so many that have been failed. And, and there's like rumors out there right now about his current relationship is not in 100%, repair. So so that was one thing. And then the other thing is talking about the negative implications of his relationship with Bernie Mac. And let me just say this, and I got to throw my Bernie Mac story in there before this is over. But Bernie Mac was always a good dude, and I knew Bernie Mac, and he was a good dude. That's all I'm going to say. And he was one of the dudes that taught me some stuff about show business, because back in the day, and this is my Bernie Mac story. So I was working radio in a town. And so they hired me to MC his show, to bring him out. And so I get all my, I'm like, yo, man, Bernie Mac is in town. So I call up my boys and this, that, the other thing. I'm like, look, man, let's go down here, and party with Bernie Mac. And so they told me what time to be there and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that I always made sure of was that I was always on time and I was always early whenever I was hired to do something. So I was not one of those people that you had to look for. If you hired me, I was going to be there, and I was going to be there on time. So I got there like about 15 minutes before they said I was supposed to be there, and I go to the stage door in the back of the arena. I'm like, boom, 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 and Bernie Mac answers the door, right? Bernie Mac, I mean, it was him and his road manager, right? They answered the door, and I'm like, so it is kind of weird. Like I've emceed a lot of concerts and stuff like that, and I'm like, what's going on? Where is everybody? And I'm looking back, and I'm looking, and he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, look, okay, I'm from the radio station, and you guys hired me, and he's like, oh, okay, and so so he introduces himself. I shake his hand, and he introduces his road manager, shake his hand, and they look at me, and then they're like, and of course I got my boys with me, and they're all like standing with me behind me. And he's like, who are these people? And I'm like, oh, those are my boys. I thought it would be a party or whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I was just going to bring a call. He's like, look, he said, look, if y'all want to see the show, you got to buy tickets for them. Right? He's like, I'll put you, and he was like, I'll put you in the first 2 rows. They'll be sitting front, they'll be sitting front row, but they got to buy a ticket. And he said this to me after, because I bought him tickets. I did buy him tickets, which came out of my money. I bought him. So I didn't make as much as I thought I was going to make, because it was a good little lick for that night. And so I didn't make as much as I thought I was going to make. But here's the thing. When I got backstage and he was standing back there and he was like, look, young blood, let me tell you something. He's like, when you do things, he's like, have people buy tickets, your family, your friends, all of that. He was like, because how are we supposed to survive if nobody buys our tickets? He was like, and everybody just wants to come back there and party. And the other thing is, he didn't have like backstage parties. He was like, so they're going to sit around there, eat up all your food, drink up all your liquor, do all whatever. And then at the end of the day, you're the one that ends up having to pay for all of this stuff. And he was like, don't get caught up. He's like, don't get caught up in that trick bag. He was like, if people love you, then they'll buy tickets. If people love you, then they'll do what's necessary. And I learned a lot from that, which helped me later on in other business ventures that I was in, because it was just like telling me, hey, if you're going to do something and you deserve to get paid for what you're doing, then why are you letting people in for free? Or why are you hooking everybody up with the discount? Because that's taken away from your profit margin and taken away from what you need in order to successfully run your business. So from that point on, and that was Bernie Mac advice. And we used to chop it up every now and then, not every day. I ain't saying like that, but whenever he came through town or whenever, he always called me. He called me. And I used to be like, wow. It was like, and there was a couple of people that was like that, but he was one of the good guys. So when it comes down to anybody that has like negative stuff to say about Bernie Mac, I can't go with you on it. Because of my personal experiences with that man. And he was a good man, and he was about his family, and he was about taking care of business, especially when it came down to black folks. So I'll just leave it at that. So what Katt was saying rang true to me. And then all of the other things that he was saying, about how Steve Harvey, tried to, wiggle his way into his thing. And the other thing is, let's not even debate this, but Bernie Mac was the king of comedy. He was one of the funniest dudes ever. His delivery, his style, the way he made you feel, and all of that kind of stuff, it was phenomenal. So Bernie Mac on my all-time favorite list, he's top 3, and of course we gotta put Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy up there, but after Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, you got Red Fox, you got dudes like that. It's like, but Bernie Mac is in that. There's no question about it that Bernie Mac is in that category of comedian. So anyway, with that being said, I think that the whole thing, and the other thing is, the whole thing is unfortunate that it would come down to that, or that's how the truth had to come out. But the one thing that I've known about Katt Williams, as far as I've known about his career, is that he has always been an honest person. I've never known anybody to come at me and say, oh, you know, Katt was dishonest with me, or he didn't treat me 100% right. All right. Anyway, so the Fast 15 Minutes is up. I'm getting ready to go on Fast 15 Minutes, but Fast 15 Minutes is up. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons, but most of all, hit that love button to yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. We'll see you next time.